Hey, LinkFrostimus here, and I hope I'm not the only one who thinks this, but the Studio Series Gamer Edition figures suck. Except for Optimus Prime. I think Optimus Prime was the only necessary one. Everything else they've revealed so far has been pretty bad in my opinion. Basically, every single one of them is failing to do a proper update, which is to my disappointment because I was really hoping for that Megatron one to be fantastic. And when I saw it revealed, or leaked, I should say, what? No. So I'm sad because I wanted a cool Megatron to go with my cool Optimus Prime, and unfortunately the Studio Series Gamer Edition Megatron is not cool. But then I remembered that I have something in storage that is better than the Studio Series Gamer Edition Megatron. So today we're going to be talking about the real Gamer Edition Megatron. That's right, I'm talking about the original Transformers War for Cybertron Megatron figure. I gotta let my dog out real quick. Now this figure specifically is a certified childhood classic. I really enjoyed this thing. So much so that I do not have the need to upgrade, and I'm gonna show you why you shouldn't upgrade either if you have this figure, or maybe you should hunt this thing down in the first place because this thing is just straight up better than the Studio Series Gamer Edition Megatron. So let's start off with his sick ass robot mode. And let me tell you, dude, this thing is the shit. First of all, right off the bat, that silhouette is captured so exquisitely, and he's got all those like edgy hard edges that the War for Cybertron team was going for with these designs. He looks so badass, and his proportions are perfectly captured with his big shapes. Props specifically to that transparent purple plastic to symbolize that, you know, that glowing light effect that they had in the games. Unfortunately, they did decide to paint his crotch with it instead of make it transparent. It is kind of disappointing to see how good this looks, and then the shitty painting on his wee-wee. Let's stop staring at his titties and his dick for a bit. Let's take a look at his face. Oh my god, this is the epitome of Megatron. That sinister and signature angry stare is captured so exquisitely. I am in love. The shape of his helmet too is so just, oh. I gotta admit though, the details are a little bit hard to make out, but once you notice them, the helmet just looks great. A nitpick for the helmet is that he does have that light piping bit on the back of his head, and his eyes are just painted red, so I hate when Hasbro does that.
Why the fuck do you guys do that?
Like, what's the point? You're just wasting plastic, you know? But yeah, dude, this dude is just sweeping with detail. I mean, look, you got so much detail. Like his shoulders are unique, and they each have their own flavor, which looks great. His arms look great. Check out that sculpted hand too. They don't do stuff like this anymore, and it's nice to see again. All the detail on his torso too, and then his legs too. His legs, okay, I don't want to sound like sus or anything, but Megatron's legs look so fucking cool. And what they did, especially with the fucking big knee spikes, they just elevated his legs so much more. He looks so good. I do gotta say that the big flat feet is kind of distracting, but I mean, look at this. Look how cool this is. And then boom, let's take a look at the Gamer Edition figure. Look how shit it looks compared to this. Gamer Edition is trying to make a more in-game accurate Megatron, but I mean, the only thing that isn't technically in-game accurate is the color scheme. I think this gray is lighter, but when you look at both of the figures, come on, you cannot tell me. Like, if I were to ask, hey, which one do you think is the old one and which one do you think is the modern one, I'm pretty sure you would say that this one is the modern one, just because it looks so much better. Speaking of better, I hope that the new figure has this. Game accurate detail. Look at that Decepticon insignia back. Ooh. So suffice to say, this thing looks fantastic. It really captures the spirit of Megatron from the Transformers War for Cybertron video game. So much so than the Studio Series Gamer Edition, which the goal is supposed to accurately capture. They failed, is what I'm trying to say. This thing is a lot better. And speaking of a lot better, the thing that really sold how much better this thing is to me is his accessory, the fusion cannon. Look how badass this looks. And then when you take a look at the Gamer Edition one, it looks like I don't want to say what it looks like because it's inappropriate, but look how tiny it is. And look how big and badass this one is. Like, dude, this cannon is everything. The detail is phenomenal. The paintwork is phenomenal. Like, the cannon itself combined with this little scope thing, and then you just got so much going on. This thing looks so much better. Unfortunately, because I owned this thing as a child, the missile that it came with, I lost. But if you just push this button here, and if you had the missile, it would shoot it out. Back when the spring-loaded missiles were a gimmick. Isn't that weird? That was like a long-ass time ago. There's also a bit of transparent purple you can see if you look inside the barrel, but overall, just this thing just, dude, it's so good. You cannot tell me that this thing is not better than the modern reimagining that Studio Series Gamer Edition is trying to do. This thing is just elite, and unfortunately, they failed at trying to make a better version. And that's how I feel with a lot of Studio Series Gamer Edition figures. Starscream especially, my god, dude, seeing them like do a side-by-side with the new Starscream and the old Starscream, they're just showing how far off they were. Back then, they had great looking figures. The articulation may not have been there, but the figures look so cool. Now, I guess they made the articulation a little better at the cost of, you know, not looking as good as the other figures and yet charging more, which the price increases, they're just making me like rethink the worth of these new Transformers figures. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I love this thing. And like I said, the one thing that the new figure probably has a one-up on is the articulation. So let's actually take a look at his articulation and see how he stands up. So first of all, his head is on like, his neck is on a joint. His head is on a swivel, so you can shoot. This is one thing that is actually, I guess, a bit of a problem, is the feel. So it feels really solid. Look at this shake. Shake the booty. When I shook it, nothing moved. And that is to the figure's benefit and detriment. This thing is actually ridiculously freaking tight. Look how tight this is. It is a little too tight, I would say. It's always better to be too tight than too loose, but it's a little annoying, I will say. Arms can rotate. It can slightly move out of it too, and then move inwards as well. Both arms have a elbow. If you do bend the elbow, it does take the elbow out of the correct location, so it does kind of break the sculpt a bit. This is technically part of the transformation, but you can move the arm slightly out to break the arm even further. He's got a wrist swivel though. Unfortunately, actually, damn, I just realized this, no waist swivel. And for the legs, they move this far out, this far back. Wow, look at that. Jeez, he can do the splits. Look at that, bro. Holy okay, you know what? Maybe the figure's posability is actually better than I remembered it. Holy shit. And then of course you got the slightly over 90-degree knee bend. Holy shit. Okay, this thing can't be topped. I've been to Target a couple times. The Gamer Edition Megatron is quickly becoming a shelf warmer, unfortunately. This thing is just so much better. Seek this out. I'm telling you right now. I'm not even done with the review. And then you actually get a slight ankle pivot. Ooh. So overall, that means that this figure's articulation is actually good for its time. It may not be completely up to par with modern stuff, but that doesn't mean that you can't get him into some cool shit. You can get Megatron into some very Megatron-esque poses. And also too, the sculpted fingers adds more personality to this thing to make him feel more evil, make him feel more like Megatron. I know I've already shit-talked the Gamer Edition Megatron so much, but they failed. The original War for Cybertron Megatron figure feels more like War for Cybertron than the Studio Series Gamer Edition version. That makes this figure the superior version. Sorry. That's it. End the video. We're done. Get this figure instead of the other one. But we still have to talk about his tank mode. So let's get him transformed into his tank mode. And here we have his tank mode, and this thing, man, this is cool. I love this. So let me just get this out of the way real quick. This is his Cybertronian tank mode, and there's technically two modes to it. This is the tank mode, and then if you flip the treads inwards, this is the hover tank mode. Ooh, wow, what a difference. Because in the game, if you like want to strafe in vehicle mode, usually every vehicle mode hovers, but if you want to drive forward fast, then it turns into like the drive mode, tread mode for this figure. You know, that's your history lesson. Let me look up how he looks like next to the tank model. Shake the booty. Sorry, I just came across other stuff. Dude, this thing is supposed to be a deluxe class figure. Are you kidding me? This thing just keeps surprising me. Holy shit. Okay, I don't know how Studio Series tank mode does it, but even this tank mode, from the picture I see, is a pretty accurate version of the tank mode in the game. And I gotta say, it looks cool. Those hard angles really come into play from robot mode to vehicle mode to make a very aerodynamic looking tank. It looks nice. The tread detail is a bit stupid because his hands fold into the treads, and if you like look closely, you can see like parts of his hands. That's a little dumb. The upside, it could be better. I mean, his head's right there. But seeing the tank face on, like, look at that detail, man. That looks sick. And then not to mention too, the fusion cannon comes into play to create such a beautiful looking tank turret. I do gotta admit though, with the stiffness of the joints, transforming it kinda was a bit of a hassle. It's worth it though. He also has tiny wheels to technically allow for rolling. It doesn't roll too well, as you can see, but I mean, that is something to point out, because you know, does the new one even have it? Doesn't even look like the new one can technically roll. It's technically in the hover tank mode. Whatever. I guess maybe the newer one technically is more game accurate, but this dude, if you're not convinced yet, this figure is just better better overall. So what if it doesn't come with a Morning Star? That actually is a shame, not gonna lie. It's literally the Chad War for Cybertron Megatron versus the Virgin Studio Series War for Cybertron Megatron. Take your pick. There's obviously one right answer. I'm not even being biased because this is a childhood favorite toy of mine. This thing is just straight up better. So let's get him back into, boom, his robot mode. And yeah, overall, this figure is still almost 10 plus years later, phenomenal. You know, it sucks too that it had to take like a sort of disappointing update of this figure to get me to talk about it, but I had to, you know. I just want to tell everybody that the Studio Series Gamer Edition figure is pointless because this thing is just straight up better than it. I don't want to mean this as like a way to like attack you know, Hasbro designers, but I wholeheartedly believe that seeing the Studio Series version and seeing this version, the Studio Series version is straight up subpar compared to this. Like, they could have done so much better and yet they didn't. And especially the fact that they're charging Voyager price, I would say stay away from it. If you can get this, get this. If not, I would say don't get the Studio Series version. My mission for this video was to tell you that this visually and playably is a better toy than the new Studio Series Gamer Edition Megatron. This thing's my baby. I love Megatron and he loves me, and you should love him too. And that is gonna be it actually for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to check out more content on my YouTube channel, LinkFrostimus, and subscribe for more stuff coming along the way before I eventually quit from YouTube. I might quit. We'll see about that. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but thanks for watching. Get this figure. It's better than the current one. It's better than the current one. Stay frosty, subscribe, roll out, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.